Welcome back, everybody, to 9785 West Charleston Boulevard. Don DeMarco's Pizzeria and Wine Bar, where the good times flow and the wine flows as well. It's Christmas. Everybody have a Merry Christmas out there. Sitting next to me is the one and only Jim Feist, who's been doing this for over 6 decades, making a living betting pro sports. So how are we today?
Doing okay. It's, Merry Christmas, everybody. Thank you for being here. I know it's hard to get out here on Christmas week because there's so many other things to do, but we appreciate you.
Let's talk about to our guests, introduce them that really don't need any introduction. They've been friends of the show and been on the show many times. But first, at the end of the table, NFL Best Bet Write-Ups, the Long Shots podcast. He's, as you can tell, loves Indiana, his home state of Indiana. Wes Reynolds. And Wes, the number one question is, are the Hoosiers going to win the college football playoffs?
I'm going to say yes. Well, I'm going to the Rose Bowl to find out if it's the first step. First time Indiana's been to the Rose Bowl since 1968. So big deal for us. Great to be out in Pasadena. And let's give them SEC boys a little bit of something finally. So looking forward to it.
Good. It's great to have you there. Our next guest is a pro sports bettor in Las Vegas for over 33 years. He made it to the final day of the Westgate Survivor Contest for $555,000. Although he didn't win that, but he was there. He is currently in second place in the Circuit Invitational after taking third 2 years ago and sixth place last year. Scott Pritchard. Scott, how are you?
I'm great, Tommy. Happy to be here. Happy holidays, everyone. Honored to be here.
Let's get into it. This week, we're going to have games on Thursday, Christmas Day. First up, let's talk about the Cowboys at the Commanders. Dallas, we've had some numbers change big time in the last 24 hours. When I looked yesterday morning, it was 3. Today, Dallas is favored by 7. The total's 50.5. Commanders are going to add quarterback Jeff Driscoll, whatever that's going to do for him. But, Jim, are you on this game at all? And if are, did you get it early?
I did not because I don't know what the status is. I don't know how much Dallas wants to play. I don't know what the status of Washington. These games where teams don't have motivation, and like last week, Dallas didn't show up. Obviously, Washington's way down in who they have playing backup on quarterback. I don't know what to do with games like this, except I'd probably look for the under because anything could happen with backup players. And I want to say that I want to welcome the first time I'm bringing one of my dogs here today. My wife showed up with my boy, Zane.
Zane is in the house.
He's a little boxer, and he's 9 years old. And he's a good kid.
All right. Well, Zane is here for Christmas. Scott, let me go to you with Cowboys and the Commanders. Jim put it best. Neither team really has anything to play for. Jerry Jones has been very outspoken since the loss. What's your thoughts on this game?
I actually, in the Circa Invitational, Tommy, I have an opinion on this game. Under 52.5. And I see right now the number is at 51, so I'm in second place in that Circuit Invitational, and that's my best bet. So I'm happy that I'm getting 1.5, even up to 2 points, the best of it. To answer your question, I like the dog. I like Washington at home, plus the points. Dallas defensively, weak, lame, and offensively they're going to do just enough to win the game. So 2 things. I like the under, and I like the dog. And speaking of dogs, Zane is in the house, and I can tell Roz has her arms wrapped around Zane, so obviously he does not have it pretty rough.
Wes, you not so much on the dog comment, but do you agree with Scott on the game?
Would lean that way. Josh Johnson, by the way, it looks like he is trending to start for the Commanders. And counted him up here before the show. This is his 25th stop in professional football as a quarterback. He turned pro in 2008. He has been in multiple leagues. I think he was in the UFL and the Alliance of American Football. He's been around this isn't even his first time in Washington. I think this is his second time. But 25th different the stop on his professional career. So, look, nice work if you can get it. 17 years you hang in, even though you're a backup for a career. Backup salaries pay too. So, lean Washington here, but not with much conviction.
So this guy has a tough time holding down a job.
Well, either that or he has a great time of, finding jobs. Jim, let me start back with you with a game that I think is intriguing with the Lions at the Vikings. Detroit, it was 3.5. It's up to 6. Totals at 44.5. Where is Detroit right now?
They're smoking dope, playing with their food. I mean, this team, now the guy sitting next to me is going to win money because of this
From
team,
who, though?
this fraudulent team called Detroit Lions.
But who's he win his money from?
Me.
I know, but I wanted you to say it.
I think we need to ask Scott the question about Detroit because he called him a fraud and Campbell a fraud, and I think maybe he is a fraud because he lost his offensive and defensive coordinator, top center, and without those guys, he doesn't look like much. Am I right, or is this line crazy at 7? Scott?
Well, again, if the legend Feist speaks, I listen, and we all should listen. And
But do you agree?
I absolutely agree that Minnesota plus the points at home is the right play here. And the reason I've been anti-Dan Campbell is because he tends to go for it when he shouldn't, and vice versa. He could not pass a third grade arithmetic test. And the reason is he does not understand, has never understood situational football. Going for 2 when you shouldn't, and vice versa, number one. And then also the fact that this guy, he couldn't wait to run to the podium after he was as a 9-point, 10-point favorite. After they won, he ran to the podium. Hey, I'm the offensive coordinator. I'm calling the plays. Look at me. Forget the team. The next week they ate shit. He didn't say dick about being the offensive coordinator. So I don't know if I can say that, but it's too late now.
Too late now. I don't have a revert
Too late
button.
to turn back now.
Exactly. Wes, what's your thoughts on this Detroit Lions team at this point in the season?
Yeah, I agree with Scott on Campbell, and it kind of lost me on the Thanksgiving game, if you recall, where they were playing Green Bay. And they're down 10, about, 9 minutes and change left to go. And he goes for it instead of kicking the field goal to make it 7. Then that just lost me. It's like, how many possessions do you think you're going to get here in the final 9 minutes? Like, analytics doesn't mean you never kick a field goal or you don't punt. Like, it doesn't mean you go for it necessarily all the time. And I just think he does it willy-nilly, and that always scares me. If anything, and it's been hit already, would lean a little bit to the under here just because both these teams have offensive line injuries in bunches. You saw it with Minnesota last week. They did get the win against the Giants, but they've got like 3 starters out. Lions about the same thing, so that's why I think you're seeing the under getting hammered here.
Jim, the other game on Christmas Day is the Broncos at the Chiefs. Denver loses by 2 touchdowns. And Kansas City just had a total of 133 total yards in that 26-9 loss. Yesterday was Denver minus 5.5. Today it's Denver minus 13, and the total's 36.5. This line jumped way up. I don't know if Kansas City just doesn't have anything this year left in the tank, or they've given up, or what's going on. Broncos have a lot to play for. Where are you at on this game?
Well, Kansas City obviously is done. I mean, they're toast. I don't think I've ever seen a line of 13.5 with a total of 36
for the Chiefs.
I mean, this is like any team. I mean, it's such a big line with such a low total. What's the final score predicted to be? I mean, it's obviously nobody. The lines maker is saying Kansas City's not even going to score, or practically not going to score. This is another one of these games. I don't like playing games where there's absolutely no motivation because I can't figure them out. I'm going to pass.
Scott, did you get this game before the line jumped?
I did not, and that's because I'm against the move. And points mean more than opinion, so give me the double-digit home dog. As bad as the Chiefs are, and I understand they're just playing their cheerleaders. Last year, same situation. When Kansas City doesn't have anything to play for, they put in their cheerleaders. And not to take anything away from the cheerleaders in Kansas City, I've been there, and a couple of those girls could play linebacker.
Wes, I'm just going to go with you after that comment.
Yes, on this one, I'd be with Scott. I'd take the double digits with Kansas City as well. I know they have nothing to play for, and Denver has everything to play for. But if you look at Denver this season, they've been a bad favorite. Like, every time that they've laid a decent amount of points, I know the Raiders here in Las Vegas, that was kind of lucky with that field goal late. Thank you, Pete Carroll, for that. Appreciated that. But Denver really hadn't gotten margin in many of these games. They were way down against the Giants and got lucky to win that game. The game against Washington, they had to go overtime. They just, when they're small favorites, it's okay. But when they're bigger favorites, I'm a little lukewarm on this team. Total at 36.5. That's about as low as you're going to get in the National Football League in 2025. So give me a Chris Alada-Coon and the Kansas City Chiefs to have a good effort on Christmas Day and keep this somewhat competitive.
Jim, let's move on to the Saturday games. Texans at the Chargers. Houston's currently favored by 2.5. Last time I looked, total at 39.5. This game to me is intriguing. I'm interested to see how this game plays out. Where are you with this?
Both teams have a lot to play for.
Yes, they do.
You got a great defense. I mean, not a bad defense on the other side either. I'm talking about Houston and Chargers. And man, I'll tell you, you got good coaching. Anybody. The line was perfect. It was one side. Now it's 2 on the other side, 1.5 on the other side. So. Yeah, they're giving Chargers maybe a little bit for home field, but they don't really have much home field. I think this is a pick'em game. This, to me, I don't really have much of an opinion.
Scott, do you like Houston on the road here, laying the points?
Definitely not. I agree with Jim. I like the home team. Chargers, they have the better coach. They have the better quarterback here in this contest. They have home cooking, home field. And the Houston Texans, number 30th. Are you kidding me? Defensively, they're good. Offensively, inept, 30th. Give me the Chargers, but I'm not going to lay the 2. I don't trust the points. I don't want to lay the points. Give me the cheap money line. Cheaper than your prom date's perfume.
As you say, see the cashier.
See the cashier?
Wes?
I'm glad you brought that up about the money line, too, because I like to do that less than 3. I like to lay the favorite on the money line. It certainly worked for you last week if you laid the Seahawks, even though you got very fortunate because there were people, I laid 1.5. Well, there was a money line available. Don't be that cheap all the time. Lay the few extra cents and get yourself a win. In terms of this one, Houston would certainly be a teaser leg for me with such a low total at 39.5. And I kind of lean their way a little bit. 2 of the best defenses in the league, by the way. Houston, number 1, Chargers, number 3 overall in terms of just total defense. Houston probably should have lost last week to the Raiders. It was a 2-point game, and they gave that phantom pass interference that basically gave the game away to Houston. But Chargers looked very good last week, beating Dallas. I was a little bit surprised they went in and handled Dallas that easily, to be honest with you. So one team kind of looked iffy, and one team looked better than expected. Give me the iffy team. I lean Texans here.
Jim, Ravens at the Packers. Green Bay is favored by 2.5. Totals at 40.5. Who needs this more?
Oh, I think they both do.
Right. But
They both could be going home, no playoffs. They both need the game. You got 2 quarterback injuries here. Both have decent backup quarterbacks. I'm not sure which quarter. These are tough games when you don't know who the hell's going to play. But right now, I would look at this game and the market's actually telling you something. It opens 46.5. It's down to 40 and 40.5, 41.5, 40.5, right across the board. I'm going to lean under because if both these quarterbacks don't play, you're going to see, not very, very efficient offenses. So I'm going to go under in this game.
You're going to see a bad quarterback game on both sides.
I've seen a lot of bad quarterbacks even when the starters go this year. But yeah, I'm going to go under the total.
Scott Pritchard.
Well, you asked who needs the game more.
Yes.
Me, I need this game.
What do you have in this game?
The Green Bay Packers. We're talking about the 6th best defensive team in all of football. And let us not forget, don't let the facts get in the way of a good story. The final score is just another stat. And I'm a numbers guy. Numbers, odds, laws of probability. The Packers, the Bears didn't win anything. The Packers beat themselves. How good of a team do you have to be that you beat yourself? That's what the Packers did. They're up 16-6, 10-point lead, 4th quarter. Choke. All in spite of that, even with your backup weak quarterback, all you have to do is recover an onside kick. Is that asking too much? Yes. 4 for 47. 4 for 47 on onside kicks, and they screwed it up. So, yeah, they get redemption this week. They're back. They're too darn good not to win going away get on the Packs, and you'll be a happy man.
Wes, you on the Packs too?
Yeah, Tyler Huntley versus Malik Willis. It looks like that's going to be the matchup. But Willis is still on the injury report. And I was looking at the Packers roster. I'm like, do they even have a third quarterback? And I did not see one. I did not see one on the depth chart. So it's probably going to have to be Willis. Both these teams have injuries. But, man, the way you saw Baltimore lose, and that's what they've done, like, basically over the last few years. They lose these leads in the fourth quarter. You're up 24-13. It's like, they're going to win. You know, there's Baltimore. They're going to get a stop at some point, and they're going to salt this game away. But it's just been like that under John Harbaugh. I don't know what it is. There might be a changing of the guard there, I think, in Charm City in terms of head coach. Lamar, he's had some injuries and obviously got the back injury on Sunday. Even when he's been healthy, he hadn't been the same. Like, that team has been off all year long.
You're right.
So, small lean to Green Bay, not with as much conviction as Scott certainly has, but I think that they're still the better team, even though I think Huntley's the better quarterback of the two that may start this game. He's certainly more experienced, but gosh, that's tough to back Baltimore off losing in that fashion, and the way those players went off the field and how discouraged they looked.
It's funny not funny actually. Why did Harbaugh have Henry sitting on the bench?
That's a very good question.
When he's averaging 7 yards a carry, at the end of the game, he's sitting on the bench, totally healthy.
He probably forgot about him.
Oh, okay. Well, that makes
No,
sense.
I'm serious.
That makes sense.
It doesn't make any sense, but he very well could have
They
forgot
actually
about
asked him that at the press conference. He was like, you know what, I probably should have had it in, but in the moment, just didn't really have a good answer for it because there wasn't a good answer for the question that Jim just posed.
Jim, let's get into Seattle at the Panthers. Seattle is favored by 7.5 on the road, 42.5 total. Carolina's receiving group, it seems to be coming together at the right time.
So Carolina is one of the biggest surprises.
They are the biggest
of
surprise.
the year.
I'm surprised that the line is 7.5 for Seattle on the road after what Carolina's doing.
I'm shocked that it is. Carolina's won a lot of games as an underdog all year long. Seattle is playing well, and they play well on the road. They're a good team. They're definitely the better team, but not in this spot. This is a tough spot. Now, granted, both of them have something to play for. Carolina wants to win the division, and they're in a good position to do so. Seattle wants to win their division, and this is, if they can get by this game, but they're still going to have to play San Francisco, who has a leg up on that at this moment if they should win the last game. But I'd have to take the 7.5 with conviction. I really think the Panthers plus 7.5, that's a huge number. I'd have to take them there.
Scott, Jim just brought up something I was going to ask you. Is this a bad spot for Seattle with San Francisco looming?
No, it's a horrific spot for them. That's one reason. There are about 15 other reasons why it's a terrible spot. Bottom line is Jim Feist likes the Carolina Panthers, and I love the Carolina Panthers. We're talking about a Seattle team that 2 weeks ago against Old Man Rivers, Phillip Rivers. You almost lost to Phillip Rivers, who throws more like the late, great Joan Rivers. It was a miracle long-distance field goal to beat the hapless, hopeless, pathetic, overrated, fraudulent Indianapolis Colts.
You should really talk how you feel about the Colts. You have trouble holding back.
Are you going to give me the green light to say what I really think?
Well, no, we can't go that deep, but I think we get it.
Well, here's the point. So that's what Seattle did 2 weeks ago. By the skin of their teeth, they won a miracle win against Old Man Rivers. This guy's an antique. And can we stop with the Phillip Rivers man crush per the media? Give me a frickin' break. This guy, he never won anything in 17 years. And he passed for 120 years, and you want to clown this guy? Comeback player of the year? Are you kidding me? I'm telling you. And then last week, don't get me started. It's too late. Last week against the Rams, the Seattle Seahawks are so extremely overrated. They finally won a division game against the Niners and the Rams. But how did they do it? They gave up 600 yards on their home field, and they couldn't protect the quarterback Donald, not once, not two, not even 3 times a lady, but 4 sacks. It was 30-14, 9 minutes to go. Rams have the ball. Even though they're on the road and they don't have their best player, Adams, they dominated this game and choke, took the apple and lost. And now you're asking them in an emotionally hard-fought game, overcoming a 7-point deficit in overtime and scoring a miraculous 2-point conversion. I had the Rams plus 1.5, minus 0.5, by the way. So you're right. Winner, steak and lobster dinner. Wes speaks. He's right. Because you either want to be on Seattle, cheap money line, or the Rams at plus 1.5 down the middle solves the riddle. Back on point, then I'm done. Carolina, you're asking the Seattle team now, after those 2 miracle wins, to travel 3,000 miles, 3 time zones, and you're going to lay 7.5 points to a Carolina team that's fighting for the division with a great running game. Bottom line is, the short answer is, Feist says Carolina plus the points, I double down on it.
3 in a row for you, Wes, too?
Yeah, I would say so. I think Seattle's going to be in like America's teaser, though, to tease that down to one to just win the game. And really, this spot in the 1 p.m. Eastern, so 10. They've been really good in this spot. They've won 8 in a row in the early window. You would think the West Coast traveling to the East, that'd be a bad spot, but it hasn't really been historically. However, Carolina back in the good role. They don't ever back him as a favorite. I don't think they covered in like 5 years as a favorite, but as an underdog, by the way, they have won, I believe, 8 times this year, and I think that they can actually break the record. All 8 of their wins have been as underdogs. That's tied for the most for any team in the Super Bowl era. They could break that this week if they beat Seattle. I don't know if they beat Seattle, but 7.5 a little rich for me.
Jim, let's get into a game that, you said there's a lot of games you don't know who's going to be playing for what.
You're not going to ask me about the Giants and Raiders, are you?
No, I'm going to ask you about the Cardinals at the Bengals.
Oh, that's
Cincinnati's favored by 7. It was 6. Total 52.5. Cincinnati had a big win over Miami, 45-21. So they did show up last week. Are they going to show up again at home this week against Arizona, who, for me, is the team that is lost?
A couple of weeks ago, we didn't know if Burrow didn't even want to play.
Right, exactly.
He had that, and then he comes out with that real lemon game when they got shut out. If he wants to play and he's got his wide receivers, he's got his running back, they're going to put up a lot of points. And you're talking about Arizona. They're an over team. They've been an over team all year long. They put up points. Obviously, these 2 teams in decent weather, they're going to put up a lot of points. What does that tell you?
You like the over. Scott.
I want to expand on Jim's point when he talks about Joe Burrow. He's not having fun. Dude, win a few games. You'll see how much fun winning is. Chris Piper, Survivor winner, his whole life is fun. Why? Because he's a millionaire. Win a few games, Joe Burrow, and stop coloring your hair. You're a grown-ass man. Act like one. I like Arizona plus the points, plus the 7. Arizona plus the points.
Wes.
Trying to think who coined this phrase first. I think it was Steve Fezzik who calls happy action fun time. And that's what you're going to get, I think, in this game is happy action fun time with 2 teams that are out of it, that don't care. This is going to be that game, if you watch the Red Zone channel on Sunday, that Scott Hansen's constantly going to go update it. It's like, who cares about this game? These 2 teams are out of it. It's because they're scoring a touchdown like every 3 or 4 minutes. It's up to 53.5. I'd go even up to about 55 with this one. I think Arizona, Cincinnati over the total for me.
Jim, Steelers at the Browns. Pittsburgh's favored by 3.5. The total's 33.5. I was surprised this line, the side, was as low as it was. I thought it was going to be higher. You agree or no? You think the line's right?
Well, this is a war. My wife is here. She's from Cleveland, but she hates the Browns.
Okay, you can speak openly
So
then.
I can speak openly. I don't have to back the Browns. Pittsburgh's playing great, but the Browns, they find ways to play close. I mean, they do have a great defense. This is one of those games between these 2 teams. They're only a couple hundred hours away. Actually, 2 hours, I think, separates them. And funny things happen in this game. I can't bet under 33.5. It's just too low of a number. 4.5 it opens, down to 3.5. Now, why would they be betting a terrible team down from 4.5 to 3.5 when one team's going to the playoffs, probably going to win the division, and the other team can't win a game? Why are they doing that? Because Cleveland has a chance in this game because they hate Pittsburgh and they play like crazy against Pittsburgh. So in this spot, oh boy, I hate to say it,
You're
I'd
going
have
to
to
take Cleveland.
I'd have to take the points. Yeah.
Scott.
Well, I have to say that I've got so much material. As a matter of professional courtesy, Angel Face Roz, Jim Feist's beautiful angelic wife, being from Cleveland, I can't and I won't dog Cleveland, but I will dog the Browns. I'm talking about the organization. How egotistical, arrogant of an organization do you have to be? Paul Brown, the owner of the Browns, names the team after himself, the Browns. Are you kidding me?
What year was that?
That was in the early 60s. That would be like Feist starting a franchise in Philadelphia, the Philadelphia Feist.
I'm in.
I'm in. I don't know how many games they'd win, but I guarantee you they'd cover the numbers.
Well, wait, he could start one here in Vegas because we don't have a team in Vegas.
That's
No,
true.
we haven't got one yet.
So I'm actually on the home team dog, the Browns plus the points.
Wes, 3 in a row for you?
3 in a row for me. Give me the Browns here. I already took them actually at 4.5. Steelers in that spot they hadn't been used to. We know Steelers as an underdog under Mike Tomlin for about 2 decades. It's been a pretty good spot for them. Underdog last week against Detroit. They pull out the win. They're absolutely in control of the North. I think Cleveland, this is one of those where a team that's eliminated is still going to fight. And that's why they put more of these division games so late in the season. Is because they don't want to see a team tank it. They don't want to see a team give a half-ass effort. I don't think Cleveland will. There's still the whole Myles Garrett. One more sack, he breaks the all-time record, takes it from Strahan when Favre fell down for him. We'll see if Aaron falls down for Myles Garrett. I don't think that'll happen. But, yeah, 3.5 or better. There's still a lot of 3.5s out there in such a low total. I don't really trust Pittsburgh necessarily in this situation. I think getting that hook is very valuable here. So give me the Browns. I still think that they're trying. Some of these teams that are out of it are kind of giving half-baked efforts. I don't think Cleveland is, as you saw against Buffalo last week.
Jim, Jaguars at the Colts. Colts have activated defensive tackle DeForest Buckner. Their defense was absent in their recent game. And you got small market Jacksonville, who wants to keep being ignored. The line is Jacksonville minus 6.5. It was 5.5. Total's up to 47.5. Started at 44.5. And I was talking to Scott Pritchard before we got on air. Jacksonville has the number 1 rush defense in the NFL. People still, I don't think, take them seriously, and they might be just a surprise team in this playoffs.
They surprised the hell out of me. I mean, Trevor Lawrence, he's been in the league 6 years. He's never looked good. Now he gets Liam Cohen there, who did well with Baker Mayfield when he was there in Tampa. Now he's doing the same thing in Jacksonville. Indianapolis is down to 44-year-old grandpa who didn't do all that bad, but there was no pass rush. The San Francisco 49ers don't have one, but Jacksonville does. So they're going to get after Old Man Rivers, as Scott sings his song. But I'm not laying 6.5 on the road in a division game. I'm just not doing that. I made a mistake last night. I didn't think Rivers could put up enough points against San Francisco to go over the total. It's really tough here. The game opened 44.5, 45, up to 47.5. I kind of lean to the over side of this, but I'm not going to play it. I'm just going to pass.
Scott, Jacksonville just beats Denver at Denver by 2 touchdowns. Now going into Indianapolis, who didn't have a defense. 6.5 to me seems like a good number.
Yeah, I actually think that the Colts live dog here, I have no respect for Old Man Rivers and the Colts. I sat here on this panel, was heckled, mocked, laughed at, tossed out, told not to come back. That's why I came in the side door. But no one's laughing now, because I actually said keep an eye on the Jacksonville Jags. Favorable schedule down the stretch, and to Tommy Boy's point, the Jags have the top-ranked rushing defense in football. And, yeah, they just stuck it to the overrated Broncos, but they also stuck it to the L.A. Chargers, 35-6. They're legit. The problem is, as a 3 seed, they're going to have to win 2 back-to-back road games. And if they lightning strikes and they get a little bit of a favorable matchup in the championship game where they would hypothetically be at home against the Bills, my buddy Ray, very sharp guy, know if he left, but he talked specifically about the Bills, and I absolutely agree with him. I think the Bills are the absolute best team in the AFC. The problem is they're going to have to win 3 consecutive road games before they get to the championship game, and they can do it. Conversely, I think the LA Rams are the best team in the NFC, but again, the problem is they have to win 3 consecutive road games before they get to the championship. Do you really think the Buffalo Bills are scared of Bo Nix and the Denver Broncos? Do you really think they're concerned about the New England Patriots, who they spotted 21 points and still stuck it to them convincingly in the last game? Do you really think they're concerned about the Pittsburgh Steelers, who at home gave up 250 yards on the ground to the Buffalo Bills, and Buffalo beat them 26-7? So watch out for the Bills in this game. I'm not going to make a habit of this, backing an antique like Phillip Rivers, but it's not about Phillip Rivers. It's about Taylor, the running back, and the offensive line. And believe it or not, there was an anomaly last night with the defense. Purdy with 5 touchdown passes. No one could have forecast that. At least I didn't. I like the Colts. Home team dog. See the cashier.
Wes, I know this is, one of those things you got to bet with your heart or with your head. So where are you at with this?
Tommy, you mentioned DeForest Buckner. The poor guy went to Panama to get stem cells injected in him so he could play against his old 49er team, and that's the effort that his defensive mates gave last night. But to Scott's point, I never like to lay a team at the tippy top of the market. And that's where I think Jacksonville is right now, because now they're going to likely win the AFC South. They could maybe be the number 1 seed. Now you've had the entire national media go, hey, look out for Jacksonville. They've been ignoring this team all season. And it's like, hey, this team down there in Duval County in Florida is pretty darn good, looking like they're going to win the division. The Colts, obviously, it's been a nosedive after they started out 7-1 or 8-1, and they were, it was almost a fait accompli that they were going to win the AFC South until it wasn't. Daniel Jones goes down, all the injuries, and now the Colts, I think, have maybe 1 or 2%. I don't even know the exact percent, but they're out of the playoffs, even though mathematically still not totally eliminated. But this would be Colts or nothing here, because we saw how bad they looked defensively on Monday night. And that's something I like to do sometimes in the NFL, because I think a lot of bettors kind of put a lot of weight in those primetime games, right? Bet what you see last. And that's, that you don't want to be a prisoner of the moment necessarily. So this may touch 7, because I don't think you're going to get like a ton of Colts resistance necessarily in the market. But I don't want to lay tippy top of Jacksonville, even though they've owned the Colts really for about the last decade. I think the Colts are like 3-17-1 against the number. Now trends don't pay the rent. Make them your acquaintances and not your friends. But there's a little bit of something to that. But it would be Colts or pass for me.
The 6.5 does have enough juice on it to go to 7. I see that at FanDuel and a couple other spots, -15, -12, -18, -14. So you could touch 7, right, Wes? And then you'd be getting Indianapolis +7 at home. And that's big for a division game, no matter who's quarterbacking, who's playing. So that's probably, against the public. And anytime you're against the public, and he's right.
And when you get a team that's been ignored and finally gets like some national eyeballs on it, sometimes teams fade in that spot a little bit, where it's like, okay, now everybody's watching us, and the pressure can get to them a little bit, because everything is on the line for Jacksonville here. So Colts, this touches 7, I think you'll see those get gobbled up.
Jim, Buccaneers at the Dolphins. Tampa Bay's lost 6 of their last 7. Their only win is a 20-17 win over the Cardinals. But they're a 5.5-point favorite on the road at Miami. The total's 46.5. I'm a Buccaneers fan, and I think the season's over. I won't be surprised they lose again to Miami.
I don't. One last time, I'm going to go with the Buccaneers.
Okay, you're going.
I'm very.
You just can't get away from it, can you?
Well, I can, but Miami doesn't show me much. And look what they did last week against the Bengals. Tampa Bay, I don't know if they have it in them anymore, because it's been unbelievable what they've been doing lately.
They look dead to me.
They do look dead. Is there one hope that they can go into a game they're more healthy than they have been? Miami's terrible. They win this game, and then they have to face the Panthers next week. That's their only chance to get where they want to go, which is the playoffs. And in the beginning, nobody thought that anybody had a chance to take this division away from them. This is it. They either do it or they don't. And I'm going to say Tampa. And I almost never lay points on the road. I'm going to say Tampa, but it doesn't.
Scott, because of the situation Tampa's in a do or die or win or lose situation, season go home, do you like him in this spot?
No. The only chance Tampa Bay has of winning the division is no chance for romance, for Baker, turnover maker, Baker, Mayfield. So the Tampa Bay Bucks, as I said early in the season, 4 of their wins, they scored in the last 40 seconds, 4 times. A complete fraud. Their coach, lame. Quarterback, lamer. The pass defense is lame. So we've got some Buccaneer fans in the background.
Yeah. I wouldn't go that far.
Donate some money to this guy
far
because
as
he's
Baker,
got to be homeless if he's betting on Tampa Bay. So it is the spirit of the giving, and I'm going to go off script as long as we're speaking of the holidays, and I love and respect everyone here. I come here for camaraderie, fellowship, and to voice some strong opinions, conviction, and maybe make a new friend or two. But I do want to give a shout out, go off script just for a second. Jim Feist, the living legend. I'm going to ask you, friend to friend, have you ever met someone for the first time and became instant friends? That's what it was like for me the first time I met Jim Feist. And yeah, we talked about point spreads and odds and the Detroit Lions. But more than that, we talked about life and stoicism and Marcus Aurelius and Plato. And one of the things Feist reminds me of, I know that I'm intelligent because I know that I know nothing. But please stay with me on this. This guy has stage 4 prostate cancer, 82 years of age. He is such a warrior. Out of all the places he could be today, he's here with you. Why? Because he's a warrior and he committed to doing it. I love the man, and Jim Feist and I are not related, but to me, he's family. And I'm asking you, like me, to show love and respect to the living legend. Round of applause for him being the man.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Wes, I don't know how you follow that up except giving your pick for the game.
I can't really, but I echo all of Scott's sentiments, and I'm glad that Jim has graciously invited me to be here several times, along with Al Scalliot, the proprietor of this very restaurant, DeMarco's. But Scott mentioned a lot of philosophers there. He mentioned Plato, but he kind of glossed over Donna Summer. Last chance for romance. Glossed over the Queen of Disco.
He
Donna
missed
Summer there. I respect that game, Scott. Very good. I have no idea what to do with this game. Tampa looks dead to me. I don't want to pay the price here, but Miami might look even deader. And they haven't been able to find a quarterback. We talked about it with Indianapolis a minute ago. That's why Chris Ballard might be getting shown the hook. Finally, after 9 years in Indianapolis as GM, because they hadn't found a quarterback since Andrew Luck retired. Miami can't find one. They thought they had one with Tua. Now they reckon it's like we're moving on. From what I saw out of that team last week, not a very good effort for Miami. So this is an absolute stay away for me.
Jim, before we get in the next game, I'll give you the floor. Anything you want to say?
Well, I appreciate what Scott just said. That's very touching, and I appreciate the applause and well wishes I've gotten from so many people. I'm in the fight to win it. I'm not going to give up, and I'm going to keep fighting. I got good doctors and good prognosis as long as I keep doing what I'm supposed to do. But be that as it may, and I appreciate all of you for being here, and like I said, all the help that I've been getting. But back to point spreads and football. But I want to say this about music. I saw a show with Matt Yeomans and Wes Reynolds. I think it was at Christmas. And Wes sang every song imaginable. He sang the entire show. Do you remember that, Wes?
I think it was we did the top 10 Christmas songs.
That's right.
Popular Christmas songs.
Do you have one song that you could sing today that would be a Christmas? Well, this is Christmas. One song.
Yeah.
I mean, this guy. I'm going to tell you something. This guy's really good.
Okay, you set him up. So go ahead, Wes.
I take requests because I can't pick one.
One song.
Yellow and better.
Christmas variety.
Let's just go Jingle Bells.
Okay. Dashing through the snow in a one-horse open sleigh. Something, something, something. laughing all the way. Jingle bells, jingle all the way. Oh, what fun it is to ride in a one-horse open sleigh. Hey!
All right.
I'm not the best singer. We had fun with it in the segment.
All right, Jim, you ready to get back some lines?
Okay, let's
Oh,
go.
go ahead, Scott.
Just real quick to follow up on Frank Sinatra wannabe here. Wes Reynolds, again, the holidays, it's about family, it's about getting together. I couldn't help but be triggered by my grandma, who made the absolute worst casserole on the planet. So when I think about Christmas and I think about my favorite Christmas song, it is Grandma Got Run Over by a Reindeer.
With that, Jim, let's talk about the Patriots at the Jets. New England opened up at 9.5. It's up to 13.5. The total's at 42.5. Is 13.5 too much to lay on the road at New York?
It's always too much delay. It's just the Jets are horrible. They've been horrible all year long. Chipper Trimbus is not here right now, but he always called the Jets the green slime, and I agree that they are the green slime. This is a game I would bet under. I don't see where the points are going to come from. Jets can't put them up unless there's turnovers. And New England, they're going to win the game. Open 9 up to 13.5, 12.5, 13.5 everywhere. I'm just going to bet under.
Scott.
Jets, Jets,
Okay.
Jets. They're due. It's been 60 years. This is the game. Double-digit home dog division game. How do these sports books stay open? This is the week the Jets cash.
Wes.
Jim mentioned green slime. The first time I ever heard that phrase actually was from our late friend Dave Koken, who called him the green slime. And one thing Mr. Koken, I always remembered, said that I never forgot: you don't get rich paying double digits in the NFL. And I think he's right. That doesn't mean you never do it, but I'm not going to do it here with the New England Patriots. I think top of the market, they win a big game in Baltimore. They come back in a game they probably should have lost, and they find ways to win. Credit to Mike Vrabel and those guys. But the Jets, I still think this will be one that they put an effort in. Some teams get selective with their efforts late in the season, but I think in division games, they're not going to be selective here. I'm with Jim, though, on the under, because this is going to have to be one of those grinder games. And this could be a game where maybe the Patriots aren't that quite that sharp. And we know what the Jets are, which is not really sharp at all. So dog and under would be the way I'd look here.
Jim, I won't be surprised if you tell me you're going to pass on the Saints at the Titans. New Orleans is favored by 2.5. The total's at 39.5. Are you playing this game?
Saints at the Titans. Well, nobody has anything to play for.
No.
Shock and he's looking for rookie of the year. Tennessee's getting better. Ward's getting better. It's I'm not gonna, I'll give Tennessee a shot here.
Okay.
Even though it's a nasty kind of game. You don't want to really look at games like this, but I'm gonna go with the dog.
Scott.
Yeah, I actually like Tennessee.
Okay.
Plus the points at home. Shuck and the Saints have made my life miserable. I've had a very good football season, but no thanks to Shuck and the New Orleans Saints. But Tennessee at home, +3. I like it.
Wes.
Well, since Scott was quoting song lyrics, I'll do one here. For some strange reason, it had to be what guided me to Tennessee. Little arrested development here for you. And I'm going to take Tennessee here. I know the Saints have covered 4 in a row, and they've won 3 in a row. But I think Tennessee getting a win, even against a walking wounded of Kansas City and basically a corpse of a team coming into Nashville. I think Tennessee, they're excited they won a game. So it's like, now the pressure's off. We've won a game. We've won a couple games here late in the season. Pressure's off. They can play a little bit more loose. And I'm not convinced. I know the Saints covered at home against the Jets. I'm not convinced they're ready to lay points on the road to anybody, so give me the Titans.
Whoever thought that the three of us would line up on Tennessee Titans? All agreeing on Tennessee. I would never think that.
Well, let's see if you guys all align with this one, with the Giants at the Raiders.
Oh, God.
New York opened up at 1.5. Now Vegas is favored by 1.5. Totals at 41.5. Jim, are you going to take the Raiders at home minus 1.5?
I'm just hoping someday that Las Vegas actually gets a professional football team.
They are when the Feist team shows up, when you start your franchise.
I mean, this is sad. This is I know they gave Texans a little bit of a battle last week. Both these teams, actually, I think maybe they're playing for the number one draft choice in this game because
Well, if that's the case, we'll end up 3-0.
it doesn't look good to me. The only thing I can do with this is just, again, I keep saying it, but I'd probably bet an under because I don't really see much happening. But I don't know. This is not the kind of game I really look forward to. I certainly wouldn't buy a ticket. I know Scott's going to be there. He's a big fan.
I'm a big fan of cashing tickets, which means I go to Raider games in my Raider attire because I'm a man of the people, but I root selectively against the Raiders. So while I'm welcomed when I show up with the attire, but cheering against the Raiders, I'm usually booted by the third or fourth quarter, but that's because I want to see the cashier. As far as this game goes, I'm telling you, have you ever had a hard, steadfast rule, and then you break it, and it comes back and bites you? Well, to Wesley's point earlier, I like the Raiders here, but I'm not going to lay the 1.5. I'm going to do the money line, cheap money line, which I always do. I just said the Rams plus 1.5 minus 0.5 last Thursday against Seattle. Winner, steak and lobster dinner. I was happy to see them go for 2. I just didn't want them to actually convert and actually win the game. But when I look at this game, you can't lay points in the NFL long term. Short term, anything is possible. Case in point, the one time I broke my cardinal rule was early this year. The Niners at home, minus 1.5 against Arizona. I'm thinking, all right, I'll just lay the 1.5, save some juice. 16-15 because of safety. So the Niners are bringing on the dancing girls and putting the champagne on ice, and I'm eating ramen noodles because I lost my bet. Even though the Niners won, they didn't cover the 1.5. So the one time I broke the rule, I'll never do it again. In fact, it reminds me, my ex-wife said to me years ago, she says, have you ever been wrong? I said, yeah, one time I thought I was wrong. Come to find out I was really right.
Wes, what's your thoughts on this game?
Festival seating there at Allegiant Stadium, I'm guessing, but this game does have a lot of stakes, though. This could be for the potential number 1 pick in the draft. So the Dante Moore or the Fernando Mendoza, or as we call him in Indiana, Heisman Mendoza, the first Heisman Trophy winner at Indiana. Both these teams are going to be looking for quarterbacks. I think clearly, Gino. Now it's time to write him off. They wrote him off before, and he didn't write back, and then he had a nice second act in Seattle. Now it's time to write him off. And I don't know if the Giants are convinced what they have with Jackson Dart necessarily. So both these teams going to be looking for quarterbacks. If I'm playing this, it'd be what Scott is doing, the Raiders, just because they're a little bit of the healthier team right now. I think they're going to get Miller back on the offensive line, who is by far, I think, their best offensive lineman. And they're relatively healthy coming in. They're not very good, but maybe they have that little more energy to win a game because it's been a minute since they've won one. So it'd be Raiders or nothing.
All right, we got 3 games to go. We got to kind of push them through here. So let's talk about the Eagles at the Bills, a big game. Buffalo's favored by 2, totals 43.5. Bills survive in Cleveland. Scott said earlier, Bills could be the best team in the AFC and could do what Kansas City a couple of years ago and win 3 on the road to get to the Super Bowl. And if the San Francisco 49ers get to the Super Bowl, they'll have the home field advantage. They'd have to win 4 in a row to win the whole thing. But, Jim, where are you at with Eagles at Bills?
Well, look at this line. Buffalo opens 3. It's down at 1 or 1.5. And what does that tell you? The money's come in on the dog. Philadelphia is the champion from last year, defending champion. They're starting to look better. They've gotten a couple of people back. Hurts is starting to look a little bit better. Buffalo's a great team, and Josh Allen's a fantastic athlete. No question about that. But why so much money on Philadelphia? What are they telling you? Usually when the road team when you see a home team that's only 1.5, that means the road team is actually considered to be the better team because it's not enough of a home field advantage. It's a tough environment. If the weather's bad, which I don't know what it is at this point, Philadelphia is really, really tough. They're not what they were last year, but they're getting better. I would probably lean to the dog.
Scott?
I could not respectfully disagree more. The Philadelphia Eagles, okay, we've moved on. We've evolved. That was last year, okay? The Eagles won the Super Bowl. Congrats. We had the parade. I get it, okay? That was then. This is now. Also, Kansas City was in the Super Bowl, and they ate shit this year. So let's move on. Let's evolve. When we listen to music, is it still on 8-track? When we make a
not
phone
anymore.
call,
They
is
just
it
changed it yesterday. There's no more 8 tracks.
when we make a phone call, is it still from a rotary phone? Like Nixon did to the moon? Give me a break. Are you kidding me? No delay, no satellite technology. Yeah, I'm just going to call up Buzz Aldrin on the moon. Hey, how's it going? Oh, not bad. I can't even call my brother in Texas without getting a dropped call 3 times a week. But enough. Buffalo, the top ranked rushing attack in all of football. Second, believe it or not, the Bears. Everyone dogs Buffalo's defense. They're number 2 pass defense in all of football. And offensively, they're world beaters. They're number 3 overall offense. You want to be on the move early or against it late. To Jim's point, Philly, they were getting 3. It's been bet down to 1.5. So that tells you the money's coming in on Philly. On the move early or against it late. I'm against the move. Bills at home, cheap money line. This is easy.
Wes.
I'll break the tie here and say fly Eagles fly here. I think the market, someone knows something and you go with the someones here. Philadelphia has been improving. I was against them a lot earlier in the season, and they weren't really covering a lot of numbers because the offense I felt was a little bit shaky. Because keep in mind, Kellen Moore and that entire offensive staff pretty much went to New Orleans. So you had new coaches and new jobs for this team, and they really struggled. Now they're starting to show signs of life, and I think a lot of it, too, is they're getting healthier on the offensive line. Looks like Lane Johnson is going to be back. So Philadelphia, look, I probably not going to chase the number at this point. Wait on, obviously, some news. But market's telling you Philadelphia, and I think they might have it right here.
Jim, Sunday night, we got the Bears at the Niners. San Francisco's favored by 3. Total's 51.5. Brock is back and looking better than ever. San Francisco's getting healthier, looking better than they have in a long, long time. And then you have the Chicago Bears who just continue to find ways to win.
Coming off big wins, San Francisco looked incredible against the Colts the other night, 48 points. However, that was the Colts. The Bears are good. They're not great. I like the money line San Francisco here. They're just well coached. Home game, big game for them. They win out. They're going to get the number 1 seed. This is the kind of thing where Scott mentioned about laying money lines up to 3. Usually when there's 3.5 or something like that, I always lay the money line on the favorite. I'm taking San Francisco on the money line to win this game.
Scott, I know you have been very outspoken about the Bears and their luck in winning this game and that game by 1 point and 2 point over this hapless team and that terrible team. But now they're playing a really good team at home. So I'm thinking you're going to take the 49ers and you're going to lay 2.5 or 3.
Luck is a residue of design. Personally, the harder I work, the luckier I am. Luck, L-U-C-K. L, laboring. U, under. C, correct. K, knowledge. That's all a crock when it comes to the Bears. They are the luckiest freaking team on the planet. We're talking about a plus 20 on turnovers.
And
Imagine,
they continue to find ways to do it.
but how? Okay?
How? The other team doesn't have the ball anymore and the Bears do.
20 more possessions, all right? Plus 20 on turnovers. The second place team is like plus 9 or 10. So if your best coaching strategy is, okay, guys, in order for us to have any shot to pull out a miracle win by 1, 2, or 3, we have to force turnovers. Well, in even last week, again, the Packers, Jacobs fumbled inside the 1 yard line. They couldn't recover the onside kick. I'm not going to go into it other than to say they beat the hapless, hopeless, pathetic, coachless, fraudulent, embarrassing Raiders by a whopping 1 point.
Right.
They beat the Washington Commanders by 1 point because Edward Scissorhands couldn't. They're running out the clock and he fumbles the ball and the Bears fall on it. Hey, let's kick a field goal win. They're last year's Washington Commanders. So it's a feel-good story if you're from Chicago. Otherwise, it's a nightmare story for me because I keep frickin' losing betting against these clowns. But teams like this get their asses handed to them in the playoffs when they're exposed. And that's what's going to happen here. A la Washington last year in the playoffs. They won 6 games on Hail Marys and fluke things. but they lost by 32 points to the eventual Philadelphia Eagles Super Bowl champions. So the Bears, forget what I said earlier about money line, cheap money line. Lay the points. The 2.5 should be the first quarter line. Take that times 4 quarters, it should be -10. Niners win going away.
Wes, being that San Francisco really doesn't have a pass defense, and Caleb Williams been fighting receivers all day long, is this an overgame?
Probably so, but I'm going to agree with these gentlemen on the side, and I will lay money line on the 49ers. Ironically enough, the team that's on longer prep, you would think that would be a good spot, but it's actually been the shorter prep team that has done well against the number, especially when that longer prep team's a road underdog. I think with the Bears, not only the luck, but I think just being in this situation before, they're not used to this. San Francisco has been there, done that. This is a team where the core of this roster has been in a Super Bowl. Now, it didn't go well at the end, but they have been there and before in these pressure situations. And Chicago, they're not used to this. And, having lived a little bit of time in Chicago, those are some of the most rational sports fans, by the way, in Chicago. They never are homers for their team. They never get overly over their skis, when things are going right. They certainly are with the Bears right now. And I think that they're a little bit fraudulent. I think the Niners get them on Monday night. Sunday night, rather.
Jim, last game getting into Monday night, Rams at the Falcons. Los Angeles favored 8.5, totals 49.5. Do the Rams go in to Atlanta across the country with a vengeance after what happened with them in Seattle?
Well, I'd like to say yes, but that's too obvious, and that really is kind of a square way of looking at it. Atlanta's playing just for pride, and this is too big of a number. I'd have to take the dog at home. It's that simple. Atlanta's playing a little bit better. Hard to believe Kirk Cousins is actually playing a little bit better. This team has actually got weapons. I don't know what it is. Probably the coaching. Atlanta, a lot of people thought that this was going to be a team that could fight for this division, and they just never got there. And they say that every year. A lot of people every year going into the season, back Atlanta, back Atlanta, back Atlanta. It just never happens. One of these days, maybe they'll get the right coach, get the right coordinator, get the right quarterback. Maybe that's a lot too much to ask for. But right now, I would have to take, I'm seeing 8.5, for God's sake. That's too many points. Atlanta plus 8.5.
Scott, I know you like home dogs. Is another spot for that?
Absolutely. In the name of Zane, I like dogs. I love dogs. They're very loyal. My ex-girlfriend called me a dog. I said, "You're telling me I'm loyal? I like it." I've never heard that before. I will say I like the Falcons at home plus the points, but I do have to say 2 things. One, Jim Feist and I sat in that. This is my favorite Italian restaurant, not in Vegas, in the world, down DeMarco's. In August, we sat down and Feist told me that he liked the Denver Broncos going in and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And I said, dude, it's worth over 6 figures if the Niners make the playoffs at -$1.60 and the Rams make the playoffs at -$1.60. The season isn't even over, so I'm cashing. So I'm very happy. See the cashier, just don't marry her. See the girl, see the cashier. She's very pretty, but don't get emotionally attached. Don't ask me how I know. I will say that because I'm a very giving person, and it's the holidays. For whatever the cover charge was to walk in here, I'm covering it for everybody. Thank you.
Wes.
Historically, been a pretty good spot for Sean McVay. He's the best in the league off a loss if you go against the number since he's gotten in. But yes, this is a very big number here, and it's not yet in teaser protection mode where it's at 9 across the board, where you can't tease through the 3 and the 7. So Kirk Cousins, that Monday night thing, I think is over. Remember, he was 0-9 at one point on Monday night, where he was 1-5 of his last 6. So don't be playing that trend necessarily. Falcons are past here. I think all these teams that have everything to play for, it's already accounted in the number. Like, you're not fooling anybody. It's like, oh man, this team's got to win this to win the division or win a playoff spot. That's already priced in. So keep that in mind, I think, when you're betting these games, that these numbers are tight as anything right now. So Dirty Birds for me on Monday night. I'm with the coach.
A lot of times when a team has to win, they actually jack up the price.
Oh, absolutely.
Too much.
Because they know that bettors will pay the premium.
Exactly.
Yep.
And we should thank you. Scott said he was going to pick up all the checks.
No, I said the cover charge. Whatever the cover charge was. Let's be clear. Let the record
Oh,
show.
there is no cover charge.
Whoa, shocking.
I got it.
So we're out of time, but Ray asked questions, so the panel can stick around and Ray can ask those questions. We're back again next Tuesday. Tuesday next week with Chip Chirimbus and Bernie Fratto will be here with me and Jim. Give a round of applause for Wes Reynolds, Scott Pritchard, and the one and only Jim Feist. Everybody have a Merry Christmas. Good luck on your bets. My name is Tommy Canale. We will see you next Tuesday here at Dom DeMarco's Pizzeria and Wine Bar.
I almost got you.